And we are back,
We are
Bumble
back.
buddies. Gotta have some love for the guys out here.
Okay. I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't mean to speak over you. I'm so sorry. Bumble buddies.
It came from Discord.
That's fantastic.
I'm almost positive that was Jenna that did that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna fucking do that on the next live stream.
I like it.
Good shit. You wanna do your little thing now? Since I just kept
No,
talking?
I think that was great. That's a good intro. I'm here for it.
All right.
You know in South Park how they had the Canadians saying like buddy,
Hey, buddy.
friend,
Yeah.
pal. When they would like, I can't remember who was getting into an argument, but it was two Canadians. I'm not your buddy, friend.
Yeah.
I'm not your friend, pal. It's funny.
So I have a couple of quick things that I want to get into, and then we can do the first chapter of that book, which will actually become a Friday episode. And
It is not the first chapter.
Q&A. Well, the first intimacy level.
Yes, the first intimacy level. It's in the second part of the book. This is a pretty in-depth read.
Did you get to the part in that where they talk about the teenagers and the parents' conversations?
No, not yet.
So-
I'm highlighting and breaking down a lot of shit.
Okay, well, that's good because I'm almost done.
Okay.
And I'm not doing any of that.
Okay.
But we know that the studies have shown that most parents interact with their children for 35 minutes or less every day. That does not include bath time, homework, dinner,
Right.
things of that nature. So that's for children.
One-on-one quality time, yeah.
The average parent spends less than 16 minutes a week in conversation with their teenager. It's in the book.
16 minutes a week.
Yep. There was a study done.
Oh, that broke my heart a little bit.
It's a lot when you think about it. Yep. I want to, I got so many things I want to touch on, but I think that we should just jump into that and then Q&A and bullshit afterwards. That way we're not having so that way Carrie doesn't have to do a whole lot of editing.
Okay. There's 10,080 minutes in a week.
Yeah.
16 minutes a week talking to their teenagers. Crazy.
Yeah. That's less than 1% of 1%.
Wow.
Peaches, you look like an absolute queen.
Oh, thank you. I did something different today. So this is a dress I'm going to stand up and show you guys. All of these buttons.
Can you stand back up for a second again? Put your arms up just a little bit. Everybody look at my handles.
I had to individually do every single button. This is from some vintage place. I think it's like a tea time dress or something.
Is
from
that
the
one of the
40s.
ones that we got while we were in where we were on vacation somewhere? We were hitting all the stores in Vegas.
No.
Okay.
This is from an online store. I'll have to. It's posted somewhere else. But I saw this hanging in my closet, and I was like, I've never worn this on the podcast, so we're putting it on. And then I did not put any mascara on today. I did not complete the fill-in of my eyeliner, so it's just pure outline. And this isn't lipstick. This is just a lip liner. So
you just colored it in?
Yeah, I just colored it in. I'm doing different things today to see how I feel about it.
I've been also shopping online.
You have. You've spent a lot of money.
Yes. Your little tree thing will be here today.
Oh, shut up. It's going to be here today?
The Shire in a bottle? Yeah, that'll be here today. It's out for delivery. I also bought you some mala beads last night.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, babe,
you'll either really like them or I'll take them. One or the other. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
But I was on Etsy looking for a new necklace for myself, and I found a necklace that's not mala beads, and I'm like, okay, I fuck with this. And I was like, but while I'm here, let me just look to see. And
Yeah.
I was like, she's gonna dig this. So we'll see.
Thank you.
We shall see. On Monday, was it Monday that we did our live stream for episode 50 for Patreon?
Yes.
We talked about possibly buying a Bronco and trading in the Volkswagen and doing all that shit. And
well, it happened.
We had to leave early because of the kids being sick
Yeah.
at school. And as soon as you left to go get the kids, I left to the dealership.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting a Bronco. So my Volkswagen that I can't drive is gone. You want to talk about a bad experience driving from Jeff's house because he had my Volkswagen to the dealership was excruciating.
Pardon me. I believe it.
And I'm willing to bet that's why I was in so much pain the last couple of days.
That would make sense.
Because it forced me to have my legs straight out in front of me, and that hits my sciatic nerve.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's gone. We got a Bronco. So now that we have the Bronco and I have my Subaru, we now have a toy vehicle that we're going to build to overland and do the things. And then we can travel with that on an RV. We're taking the steps to live the dream from Thailand. So
We're doing it. Yeah. I'm very excited.
taking the steps. I got a It's a Badland Editions Bronco with, or I'm sorry, not a Badlands, the Outer Banks with a Sasquatch package. So it's taller than normal Broncos. And I'm not gonna like do anything to void the warranty until I start breaking shit that void, and then once it's broken out, I will spend the money to do things like I'll put a different suspension on it and do things like that. But I don't want to, I only did a 36-month term. So I don't want to have to violate my warranty so quickly,
Right.
Anyways, the ads have been off the charts lately. Sorry about that. When we do live streams for YouTube, the ads are there. If you want live streams without ads, you need to join our Patreon because we turn those off when we do Patreon lives.
We do.
That way you guys aren't inundated with bullshit.
Yep.
Okay, let's jump into that. Unless you have something you want to get into first.
A lot and nothing at the same time. It would just be filler.
Well, I mean, we can bullshit for a minute and put it in front of the episode.
So I've been making notes of things that I say. And last night, something happened.
While you're looking for that, Bianca BB12 said, Chris and Peaches, you guys saved me. Thank you. Glad you're here. I don't know how we saved you, but glad you're here.
Likewise. So this is just of note. I'm just updating you guys about my life right now. So this is of note with the children the other day. I love being a mom. It's so much fun. And I was on the patio cleaning and the children were playing. And the children and I do this thing now where if one of us sings, it doesn't even have to be a song. If it's just like, we'll all do it. And now our son is like, I'm really good at singing, mommy. I'm like, you're getting there, buddy. You're the fluctuation, the falsetto, you're doing it. You just got to tune it a bit. And I was standing there and I was like, she knows. And our son was like, what? And our daughter goes, what do we know? And it killed me because they don't know that I was just singing a snippet of a song because it's been stuck in my head for the last 2 weeks.
That's funny. That's funny.
But they sang it with me and that was fun.
Speaking of Peachisms, we have 3 new shirts on the website right now. We do. One that says, I love my country, but fuck the government. That was before the election.
Yeah.
Because I stand by that no matter who's in office.
Yeah.
The other one is, what would Peaches do? Or what would Peach do? I think I said Peach, not Peaches.
What would Peach do?
And then the other one was...
I'm here and overwhelmed.
I'm here and overwhelmed because everybody was requesting those 2 shirts. So they're on the website under the store, not under merch, under store.
I also want to create a shirt. I was thinking about this the other day. I think I just want to put on the shirt, you call the government daddy. I call my husband daddy. We're not the same.
Yeah. Yeah, you told me that. I remember that whole conversation. It'll get there.
Okay.
Making shirts is not an enjoyable process for me.
Yeah.
Because there's only so many fonts that I like, and I feel like they're all the same with just different phrases, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
So.
Let's see. What are other things that I've said? Oh, this one happened last night. The lights flickered in our house. And I stopped moving and you were walking away from it. I was like, did you see that? And you like super casually were like, yeah, it flickered. And I was like, dope. Validation of my reality. That was nice to experience. And I don't remember if I've said this one before or not, but I know that I have said this. What are we doing the time change for? Crops? They can't fucking tell time.
Hey, we saved the sunlight. We're fucking heroes. Yeah. The website is tobebetter.com. We got a super chat from Alex Smiley that said, can you do a short guide on how to go about gratitude with beads? I heard the prior explanation, but my ASD brain needs more detail. I want to try it. Okay, so mala beads are usually used for meditation. Or prayer, right? People will use them to do rosaries. Same thing. I wear this as a reminder to be grateful for things. And when I'm doing nothing or doom scrolling or watching TV, I will just mess with them in my hand and I will touch each bead. And as I move the bead, I will say something in my head that I'm grateful for. And there's actually more than 108 on this. Mala beads are supposed to be 108. There's 111 on mine. I counted them.
That's funny.
But each one of these things gives me a new thing to be grateful for. And sometimes it's really simple shit. Like,
the dope breakfast this morning.
Right. I'm glad that I was able to afford gas without looking at the gas pump, right?
Like, I was able to brush my teeth without pain.
Right. Right. I have clean running water stupid shit, right?
Yeah.
Like anything
it's not
that
stupid shit though. Like,
well, to most people it is, because when you think of the things that you want to be grateful for, you could be like, I chose a great wife.
I
My
bought a
kids
new
are
house.
healthy. Yeah, I bought a new house. I'm not in bankruptcy. Like I'm doing like the mundane things that people overlook is a lot of what I'm grateful for, because we had a conversation. Okay, this is not going where I thought it was going to go, but I had a conversation with a friend of mine the other night while he was replacing the thermal tank, the thermal extra tank on our water here. You have your water heater, and then you have another tank on top of it that's a potable water expansion tank. And ours busted, and it fucking drilled a hole through the wall from water pressure. We found out that it could have went through the ceiling had it busted off the PVC pipe because of the way that the pressure was in there, and we got lucky in that aspect. But I was talking to him, and we were talking about life shit, and we had a moment where he was telling me about all of the downsides in his life, and I was like, man, this really sucks for him. And like all of his big concerns and big like problems in life are things that would not be a problem for us because of where we are.
right.
And it really put a whole lot of things in perspective for me. Oh, ice maker. And it was one of those things that like it just made me realize that we need to be more in tune with the things that we overlook every day. And then obviously the conversation that we had at the beginning of episode 50 with taking things for granted, like I'm really on some don't overlook your life.
Yeah.
Right? It could always be worse, but it could be way fucking better too. So like look at the things that make you grateful for the life that you have, and try to show gratitude. So that's why I wear these. It's not a Buddhist thing. I took that from Matt Vincent. I saw on a TikTok where he said, I do this. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. I'm using that because
Stealing it.
I need some gratitude in my attitude.
I took it, so I'm doing that now.
Yep.
Not always with my mala beads. They're massive. I was having a really bad day that day. I almost didn't buy any mala beads.
Yeah. Well, we ended up buying 2 pairs for the children.
One pair each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 1 for each of us.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't think I was going to like mine. And I fucking love it. I have jade ones, but they come down to here.
It hangs low.
And I don't like how low it hangs down. This is a shorter one, so.
I'm excited to see the ones that you got me. I want to be able to wear mine.
Yeah.
The ones that I have are really, really big. And the string is loose, so there's like gaps between the beads.
Anna Lynn on Facebook said, how did y'all get to where you are now? So positive. A lot of ugly.
I got tired of being so negative in my life. I got tired of waking up every morning and going, I want to kill myself. Am I going to live the next 80 years of my life waking up feeling that way?
Yeah. My big thing was knowing that I get to dictate the outcome of my existence.
All of my choices have influence.
Just because I'm having a bad day, it doesn't mean I'm having a bad life.
Yeah.
And just because I'm having problems doesn't mean that I can't view them as opportunities, find a silver lining and improve on it. You know, you look at a problem is nothing more than an opportunity to improve your life in some fashion or another. You lose your job, that sucks, but maybe you're going to find a better job now. What's that? What are you doing?
Well, I'm checking to see if our food has been delivered, but then I saw a text message and it made me snicker.
No.
So I did that.
Gotcha.
Because I am grateful for the things in my life. And that made me chuckle because it made me happy.
Okay.
All right.
I'm here for it. What's the website? The website is tobebetter.com. The number 2bebetter.com. Can you talk about work and home balance, please? That's actually going to be an episode coming up. I think it's going to air in December. Mm-hmm. That's on the list of things to discuss, talking about gender roles in every single work aspect. One working, one staying home, both working part-time, both working full-time, et cetera, et cetera. Bree Ball, thank you for holding me accountable with my gratitude. Been really rough the past 2.5 years, more so this year. Definitely only doing what is best for the family versus everyone. I fucking love that. Bree, can you send us a follow-up to the Zoom call that we did? I would like to know how life is progressing for you guys.
Yeah.
Last thing I'm going to get into, and then we really should jump into
Well,
that.
no, there's things that I want to talk about. So I'm
Then
gonna
have
wait
at
till
it.
you're
I'll
done.
wait and we'll do mine after because mine is school shit.
Okay. Somebody in the comments repeated it's not a bad life, it's just a bad day.
Yep.
Do you guys want to know where that came from?
Where did that come from?
Really?
Yeah.
Me having a mental breakdown on the couch and you holding me in a wrestling position?
Oh, I remember the jujitsu hold. I had you in a rear naked choke almost.
Right.
I remember that. Is that where that came from?
Yeah.
I was just trying to soothe you
Right.
and give you comforting words. I'm glad that you remember that moment. That's pretty dope. So you remember all of that, and I remember the hold.
Yeah.
So that hold was one of the few times where like we've been comfortable in like a you completely on me situation. And you were like, can we do this all the time? And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, we can do this more. We just have to sit on the other chair. And we never sit in the other chair.
Well, we can't do it because of your back.
Well, I mean, I would be willing to try.
Yeah.
Yeah. You may have to lift the leg and pull the leg over.
Yeah.
This one I could get, maybe.
Right.
I would like to try.
Well, we did that. And then like a week later, your back got messed up.
Yeah.
So
I think we can make it work. I think we just have to, we're trying to find new ways to sit on the couch anyways. We really need to buy that other couch. Then we can just lay on the couch. But
somebody commented, can you stop the chat?
yes.
This is from, I don't have my glasses on, so I have to lean forward.
Which one?
Was that More Naomi?
Yeah.
It says, Peach, is there any advice to a trans woman who is super traditional and wants to serve my boyfriend like you? You inspire me. My advice to you is to pay attention to your boyfriend, right? And this isn't just for a trans woman. This is for anybody who is in a relationship. You need to pay attention to your person and understand how to love them, right? The way that you love people, the way that you need to be loved is not how everybody needs to be loved. With the traditional roles, if you're looking to fall into like the housekeeping and the cooking, I would highly recommend a time management routine and getting yourself into a structured routine. So waking up every morning, do not wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock in the morning. Wake up early, knock all of your chores out, and spend the rest of the day doing the things that fulfill you. Because the happier you are as his woman, the happier he's going to be in general. One of the greatest gifts I give to my husband is being his peace. And by being his peace is by me being happy and fulfilled. And that's me making sure that I keep my depression at bay and making sure that I am on top of my own discipline in my life and not slacking on house cleaning or we can just DoorDash. Let's DoorDash for the third night in a row to have dinner because I don't feel well today.
I just remember there's crumble cookie in the refrigerator because you said DoorDash.
There is crumble cookie in the refrigerator. Last night I was going to eat some cookie butter, but I was like, I just want to take a look. And I looked at crumble cookie and they have the traditional pink cookie and I love that cookie. And I was like, hey, husband, do you want crumble cookie tonight? And you're like, no. And I was like, okay. And I closed the app and I was like, cookie butter it is. And I got up to walk to the kitchen. We were passing each other in the hallway. And my husband's like, I kind of want that crumble cookie now. And I was like, yes!
He planted the seed.
Yes. I waited an ample amount of time too. So I didn't eat the cookie butter. So for you to be like, I want crumble cookie. I'm like, I can't. I had too many sweets.
It worked out.
I waited the perfect amount of time. It was like maybe 15 minutes.
Stars aligned.
So that's another answer. If you ask your husband or your boyfriend something, hey, do you want this to eat? Wait a 15-minute buffer period.
Sometimes we need to load.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I'm going to tack that on to that question. If you're a traditional woman and you're in charge of food, 15-minute buffer period when you suggest something. There we go. I take my role as being the food provider, like cooking the food or getting the food to the table very seriously. And I want to make sure it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. My husband tells me all the time, I'm good on just chicken and rice or just cook me beef and I'll eat it seasoned. Not my husband. I'm sorry. you're gonna eat healthy food and it's gonna be flavorful and it's gonna be good. That keto shepherd's pie that I made the other night, minus the tomato paste, was really good. That cauliflower mash.
Yeah.
Now I'm rambling. I'm done. Get into your school thing.
I want to read a super chat first.
Okay.
Libby said, super excited for that episode as both my husband and I work industrial. It's hard to do, but we make it work. And To Be Better has helped us too. Thank you.
I'm glad.
Life is hard, guys. It's just going to be the way that it is. And you can accept the fact that life is going to be hard and make the best of it, or you can bitch and complain and just live in that hardship.
We are getting into, I'm going to hold up my Kindle. Can you guys see it? The 7 levels of intimacy. The Art of Loving and the Joy of Being Loved by Matthew Kelly. This is actually a book that I prescribed for my private women's group. Every single month we are reading books. And I mentioned this to my husband. The first snippet he got out of this book was a screen grab from Spiritual Connection. And the way that spiritual intimacy is described in this book, it's not based in religion. It's based in what is our purpose being alive. Right? And everybody wants to fulfill their purpose. And if you're not here to help me fulfill my purpose, you're here to hinder it. And there's no intimacy in that. And then we did a little breakdown the other day because I found a snippet in this book and I was like, hey, babe, we should talk about this on the podcast. And now my husband's running with it and I'm so excited. So we're going to get into the first intimacy level. Cliches. The first level of intimacy. Is your relationship a cliche? A cliche is a trite phrase or expression. So let's see what the definition of that is. Are we ready, class? The definition of trite: a remark, opinion, or idea overused and consequently of little import, lacking originality or freshness. Okay. Or the idea expressed by it, a hack-in theme, characterization, or situation. Something that has become overly familiar and commonplace, Webster's Dictionary. Has your relationship become a cliche? The first level of intimacy is the level of cliches. At this level, we engage in casual interactions, encounters that reveal little about each person, and rely on fleeting and superficial exchanges. If a social encounter doesn't move beyond an exchange of cliches, it is not even worthy of being called a conversation.
I agree with that.
How was the weather?
Right.
How's your family?
Now, how you doing? Good. Moving on.
Right.
Right?
Right.
How's it been? Living the dream. Moving on. It's bullshit. There's no connection there. That's just polite societal conversation. Mm-hmm. I truly believe that when people ask how you're doing, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They're doing that because that is the societal expectation of how a conversation is supposed to start. Mm-hmm. And in reality, we know that most people don't actually care what the other person's going through. They're waiting for their opportunity to talk.
Right. They want the segue to be able to vent about themselves.
Yeah. 17 seconds is the average gap before somebody interrupts somebody with what they want to talk about. So if you're in a conversation with somebody, see how long the person you're talking to can go without interrupting you or pulling the conversation back to them.
I've gotten really good at that.
At
just listening to you talk.
Yeah.
Because you asked me a question, right? I mean, I know you asked the populace, but I'm going to respond. And
is it because I ask a question and then ask a clarifying question and then make a clarifying statement and then realize that I'm in an autism spiral and be like, hey, over explaining right now. Can you just answer the question? Because my question, see, I'm doing it right now.
You are doing it right now, yeah. No, I would say it's more along the lines of like my listening. So I'll interrupt you. Right? I'll let you ask me 2 questions and I'm stopping you because I'm losing track of the first one. I need you to stop. But when it comes to like your downward spirals of things, you will, like the way a cow chews on cud, before you start spending money or make life choices, you will marinate on something for 3 weeks. And I'll hear the same conversation every day.
Yep.
And I like to think that I've gotten really good at listening and not interrupting.
It doesn't bother you?
No. You're really good about like getting to the thing I'm going to ask about anyway. So maybe I can learn to do that during movies.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Which one is that?
It is pomegranate, cranberry.
You lost me at cranberry.
Oh, I love the taste of
I
cranberry.
don't know how you do it so bitter. It's just bitter grossness to me.
Well, I have to get the one with sugar added.
Tart. It's tart.
It is very tart, yeah. I have to get the one with sugar added,
Yeah.
or I can't drink it. I don't know. I like the taste of cranberry. It does something for my brain. Are we continuing on?
Yes.
All right. If a social encounter does not move beyond an exchange of cliches, it is not even worthy of being called a conversation.
Pause, because I have a thought about this whole conversation in this.
Okay.
Do you think that those conversations are bid for connections or polite conversation? Because we're speaking on intimacy.
It could be a bid for connection. It could be, I don't know how to talk to this person anymore. It could be an obligatory thing.
Well, the reason I ask that is like, for example, I call you from the truck when I'm doing something.
Yeah.
And I don't go, how's your day? I go, what are you doing?
Yeah, every time.
Because I want to know what you're doing right now. Like, am I interrupting you? Are you having a good morning? Are you gardening? What are you doing right now? Let's talk about that for a minute and then we'll talk about what we need to talk about. And that is my bid for connection. I could call and be like, hey, I need you to call so-and-so. Have a great day. I love you. Bye. There's no connection there. That's super not personal. Anyways, that bid for connection is real. So if you're having a cliche, as they're putting it, I think a non-personal or a disconnected, non-connected conversation is a better term than cliche.
Okay.
Because I understand the definition of cliche because you read it, but having a non-personal conversation out of polite societal expectations is very different than being engaged with somebody with a bid for connection because you genuinely care. And that genuine care creates intimacy across all relationships, not just romantic ones.
Right.
Good call on that, because I was going to say sexual, and I knew that wasn't the right thing, so
I got you.
I paused.
Continuing on. This style of communicating is very useful in becoming acquainted with a person and in the day-to-day transactions of our lives. But relationships are not transactions. Transactions are boring and monotonous.
I disagree.
Monotonous, like cliches.
I disagree with the transactional thing.
I also disagree with the transactional thing, because even when I'm going grocery shopping, if I have, right, like I'm here buying groceries, you're supplying something, I'm giving you my money so you can stay in business so I can continue to come here. If I ask an employee a question and they're rude to me, I'm never coming back to this grocery store again.
Right.
If I am checking out and the person doesn't talk to me, just completely ignores me, bags my things, and doesn't even say have a good day, I'm not going to come out to this checkout line again. Like, I am very much that person who, I need a human interaction. I understand that I'm giving you my money and this is just a business thing, but I'm a human being. And you're also a human being here making a living, and I want to treat you like a human being.
But you have to be human-like in order for that to be a thing. The Gottman Institute said that it takes 1 in 20 positives to 1 negative in your daily relationship bank account. Positive deposits. And in conflict, that number goes to 5 to 1. 5 positives for every 1 negative in conflict. And if you look at it that way, it very much is transactional. You have to constantly be putting deposits in, making sure that each other is taken care of, that you're serving each other, and it is a tit for tat. It's not a matter of keeping score, though. It is a matter of making sure that you are doing for your person, because...
Have I loved my person today?
Right.
Have I checked on my person today?
You don't want it to be one-sided. And if it's not one-sided and you're doing things to show that you still care and love and you're affectionate, that has to be reciprocated. Because if it's not reciprocated, one side is going to feel abandoned and lost, and that they're dumping into and pouring into somebody that doesn't give a shit about them.
Taking advantage.
Yeah. So I disagree that it's not transactional. On a base level, all relationships are transactional.
Right.
Go ahead.
I agree with everything you're saying, because if you're in my life and all you bring me is negativity,
right, you will close the door on that.
Right. You're not bringing anything positive into my life. There has to be a positive exchange for this to work. There has to be a positive exchange in life for me to want to continue to do something or be a part of something or interact or show up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Verbiage bothers me sometimes, and I do get hung up on this shit.
Yeah. I think it's also, we break down everything in our life.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, it helps for understanding.
It does.
I heard something this morning that said, it was actually from like the later part of this book. The dude said that if they had a room of 100 people and you were to ask them, how many of you are good drivers, at least 80 would raise their hand. And how many of you are great drivers, at least 80 would raise their hand. And how many of you are good drivers, at least, probably all of them would. And then if you're a bad driver, raise your hand, it would be almost no one. You can't do that, because what makes a good driver? Is it that you've never been in an accident, or
is it attentiveness?
That you're rarely in an accident, or that you don't use your phone while driving, or that you don't blare the radio and you keep your hands at 10 and 2? How do you define what a good driver is? So his statement in that about what is right or wrong is bullshit, because we have our own cognitive bias. If I drive every day for 3 hours a day from the age of 16 until the age I'm 80, and I've been in 4 car accidents, and one of them was my fault, I'm a phenomenal fucking driver because I'm not wrecking shit.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But does that mean that I don't use my blinker? Because that means I'm breaking the law and I'm not a good driver.
Right. Are you cutting people off in the road?
Right.
Are you trying to engage in arguments at red lights?
Right.
Yeah.
When I'm on my bike, I'm aggressive as a motherfucker because I've gone down because of somebody else's
not
bullshit.
Paying attention.
Right. Does that make me a bad motorcycle rider? Absolutely not. It makes me safe. Other people may look at me as an asshole because I'm cutting line and fucking doing what I'm doing, but I am safe because of it.
Right.
So that is a cognitive bias. And those questions are loaded because there's not enough information there. And we have to be able to define the words and what we're talking about for everybody to be on the same page and understand it.
Right.
Which is why I obsess over the words the way that I do.
Yeah. Continuing on.
Yes.
Relationships should be a dynamic collaboration.
Agreed.
So while the first level of intimacy is good for establishing a connection with people and necessary for conducting the daily affairs of our lives, cliches can destroy the soul of a relationship. Thus, they can prevent any true intimacy. We have relationships on the cliche level. Oh, we all have relationships on the cliche level. The dialogue in these relationships tend to go something like this. How are you? Fine. How was your day? Great. What did you do? Same thing as yesterday.
Yeah. This is what I was talking about earlier with the bid for connection. Because if I was trying to connect with you, what are you doing right now? And you were like, nothing. Well, you are doing something. Are you on the couch watching TV? Are you scrolling TikTok? You taking a shit? You outside with Ivy? Are you gardening? Are you actually gardening? Like, you're doing something. You're not just sitting there in silence staring at the wall. And if you are, you can say, I'm disassociating, because you're fucking doing something.
I have told you that. Sitting on the couch disassociating and you calling me brought me back to reality. What's up, babe?
Right. So that situation, I'm only bringing that up again because it's very important that you guys look for that bid for connection. Your kids do it. Your parents are going to do it.
Yeah.
Hey, I really want to see you for Thanksgiving. It's not just them being polite, hoping that you come up there. They're trying to reconnect with you. There's a whole lot that goes into that.
Yeah.
Ooh, my hand's itching.
Itchy.
You know what that means?
You're itchy?
Money's coming.
Really?
Yep. Say if your hand's itching, you're going to come into money.
Okay, so I've been biting my hands to get itches out of there. Does that mean that?
They say to rub it on blue to make it come true.
Blue on your, yeah.
And then they say to rub it on your ass to make it come fast. Can you? Yeah. Okay, thank you for that.
You're welcome. Gotta make it happen, babe.
Yeah.
Gotta do what I can.
Teamwork.
As your wife, I gotta help multiply.
They said left is money going, right is money coming. Well, money's constantly going out.
Oh yeah, it's a constant flow.
Yeah.
I'm always stressed. I don't even handle the money, and knowing that businesses take money is stressful. Okay, back into this.
Yes.
Now, if you communicate with the man who bags your groceries only with cliches, that is one thing. But if a cliche is the way you communicate with your spouse or your teenage child, that is something entirely different.
Are you going to pause?
I am going to
Okay,
pause.
good.
Why?
Because I want to see what you got to say, because I have something on this.
Because I don't hold back. I understand polite society, right? But if you're asking me how I'm doing, I'm pretty depressed today, but I'm here grocery shopping. I'm going to make dinner for my family. Oh.
You're an overshare.
Well, you're going to ask me, right? I'm tired of, I didn't really mean it when I asked you that. We just do that. Fuck that. I'm a human being. I'm going to be real and honest. I'm going to ask you, how are you doing today? I don't want to be here. I'm ready to clock out and go home and eat dinner with my dog.
Bro, I feel that.
Word.
Yeah.
Word. What are you and dog going to have? Are you guys going to have separate meals? Or do you like cook the same thing? Are you that kind of dog owner?
Yeah.
Like, I will have a full conversation with somebody.
People who work in those industries, because that is a customer service job.
Right.
They are so used to being shit on and nasty too that you having those polite conversations actually makes their day better. And it takes very little effort to simply be polite to somebody. Mm-hmm. And you're right, you do that. That whole scenario with the dog, the only thing that I think that you would have done differently in real life is ask them what kind of dog they have.
Yeah.
I go above and beyond to talk to people when they talk to me. Now, full disclosure,
Right.
is as much as I run my mouth on the podcast, when I meet people in public, I'm very reserved. I normally will not engage a conversation unless it's started with me, because most people don't want to interact with other people. Like
Right.
they want to keep their headphones on, or they want to look down, they want to play on their phone. They don't want to interact with strangers, and I fucking get that. However, I will have a conversation with anyone if they stop and talk to me.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck who you are. I'll talk to you.
Right.
But I don't want to be the person to engage that initial conversation just in case somebody doesn't want to talk to somebody. The thing that I was going to interrupt, though, is knowing that people in a customer service job hate their fucking jobs and most people are really nasty to them, that positive interaction could be enough for them to keep their job.
Yeah.
That random strange old person that comes up to you and talks to you in the gym, even though you are trying to get your workout in, probably doesn't have real interactions with anyone else in his life. And those small interactions of what he's currently living for.
His kids don't talk to him anymore.
You never know.
Yeah.
That little bit of kindness can literally save someone's life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Peaches, do you do a mentorship program? Kind of. I have my private women's group where we have a community of women. We have a group chat. We have quarterly goals is not the word. Quarterly
Yeah, goals works.
subjects. So quarterly
Goals.
whatever. This quarter we're doing relationship. It ends next month. Ends in December. There is, through the private women's group, you are allowed to one-on-one private message me for advice, panic attacks, reality check, grounding, whatever. We do weekly challenges. There is a weekly phone call every Saturday. It's a lot.
Yeah, that group can be accessed through our Patreon.
That is through our Patreon.
You want to talk about To Be Focused?
Yeah.
Can you do that real quick while I go get a knife?
We will be doing something called To Be Focused. We are going to be collaborating with Mike and Katie. They have been on the podcast prior. And we will be doing a mentorship program with them called To Be Focused. That is still in the works. It will be launched later on in 2025. Hopefully the first. We'll see how that goes. But all of the information for that will be put up on our website and more in-depth explanations. My husband just said To Be Focused TikTok and Instagram has already...
I'm sorry. TikTok and YouTube.
TikTok and YouTube has already been created.
How do I join the women's group? You go to the Patreon. It's the highest tier on Patreon.
It is a paid women's group.
Yep.
So it is $115 a month to be in the group. There is also quarterly shirt releases, so you get free shirts every quarter.
It's also limited spots.
It is limited spots, yes. I did recently have 2 women drop from the group, so there are 2 new spots available. Yeah. All of it's accessed through Patreon. And with the private DMs, so this isn't like, hey, what are you doing today? This is, like I said, I'm having a panic attack. I just had an argument with my husband. I don't know how to handle my kids right now. Yeah. Very grounding conversations. And I typically respond between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. every day.
Sam said, what is a Patreon? I'm a newbie. Found you beautiful people about 6 months ago. Patreon is a way for us to monetize what we're doing, to allow us to hire people to continue to make sure that we're doing what we're doing. Because of Patreon, we've been able to hire email screeners. Mm-hmm. We have editors.
I have women working behind the scenes on true crime.
Yeah.
We have a lot. We have a whole team now. It started off as a 2-man bandwagon.
Yep. We have a fucking tribe behind us now.
Mm-hmm.
But Patreon is a website that you can sign up to, and you can do tiers like based off of a financial aspect. So like we have a $5 tier, which is just to thank you for what you do. And it's a tip. It's a tip. $10 tier gives you access to exclusive Patreon only content. The $15 tier gives you exclusive content, live streams at least twice a week because we go live when we record, Patreon exclusive lives, and then access to the Discord, which is where the To Be Better community is. The Discord itself is worth the $15 a month just because of the amount of people that are in there and what's happening in there.
Right. Have you guys ever heard of the Proverb 31 wife? I think Peaches is the embodiment of Proverbs 31 wife. It's a quick read, and I'd say because of her entrepreneurial pursuits, she's the ultimate traditional wife. Oh, thank you. That was pleasant to read. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I struggle really hard with feeling like I'm maintaining or doing good enough in all aspects of my life, especially since becoming an entrepreneur and having the podcast. And I feel like I have gone back to work, but I'm still very much involved in the children's life. So I don't know. That was reassuring and validating, and I needed that. Thank you. Why do we communicate in cliches? We communicate in cliches for a myriad of reasons. Some of those reasons are simple and valid, while others are tremendously complex. The simplest and most valid reason is that cliches are powerful in helping us make initial connections with people and helping us to maintain a connection with people at a certain level. Asking someone, "How are you?" is perhaps the simplest and most common way to begin a conversation. Making that person feel that you are actually interested in hearing the answer is the key to intimacy. Let's face it, when most people ask, "How are you?" they are just being polite and they expect you to reply in cliche form by saying fine or great. Cliches are a great conversation starter, but if they don't lead anywhere over time, they become shallow and superficial, and they fail to quench our thirst for intimacy. At the same time, a cliche can be used to kill a conversation. Those who are indifferent, selfish, or afraid to become experts at employing the cliche to destroy any chance of meaningful communication.
I disagree with that.
Why?
Because using the cliche to engage with somebody is impersonal. It is a societal expectation. If somebody goes, "Hey man, how are you?" I'm like, "Great, moving the fuck on with my conversation." That is such an impersonal thing. It is a habitual thing. It's no different than going, "I love you, bye," and hanging the phone up.
Right.
There's no real interaction. That's the difference between what are you doing right now versus how you doing. Mm. There's other things that can be said to engage someone in a conversation. Hey, I really like your shirt.
Right.
Your makeup looks great today. There's better ways to engage somebody in conversation that is meaningful than going, hey, how's your day going? So yes, I disagree with that. There are points. I understand where he's going with the book and the points that he's trying to make. I just disagree with it. The intent behind it matters, and I fuck with the intent, but how we get there matters.
Right, I agree. Continuing on. For example, if a wife asks her husband, "What did you think of what happened in Europe today?" and he replies, "It is what it is." Oh, another example might be that was it. For example, a wife may ask her, that was just it. Okay.
That's a bid for connection from the wife, and dude shutting that the fuck down. It is what it is. I don't want to talk to you about this. That's what that tells me.
Really?
I don't care enough about what's going on in Europe. It is what it is.
Okay. Is that what it means when you say it?
No, well, it depends on what we're talking about.
Okay.
Sometimes I just don't have an opinion.
Okay.
Sometimes it doesn't, there's no reason for me to have an opinion, right? Like if something's going on in Europe, unless it's something that like I think is going to change the course of humanity, I don't live in Europe. It's not really relevant to my life. So also the is what it is statement is an acceptance thing. I believe that over everything else. If somebody says to you, it is what it is, it should be because they've accepted what happened. You can't change it. It's in the past. It is what it is. Moving on. But when you put in for a bid for connection, I'm not going to say that I don't miss bid for connections because that would be arrogant as fuck. I miss them. I know I do. You do too. That's normal human shit. You can be asking me a question while I'm deeply focused and processing something in my brain and I'm not even going to hear you. And you're like, babe. I'm like, what? I snap back.
Yeah.
Back to life.
Hey.
Back to reality. That's my shit sometimes, right? And that's just the way that it is. But that doesn't mean that I am not still trying to be aware when you are making bid for a connection. In that situation, that reads as, I don't want to have this conversation. At least that was my knee-jerk reaction.
Right.
Now that you're questioning me on it, I'm having to think deeper.
Yeah. Look at me pushing you.
Yeah.
Another example might be a father trying to begin a discussion with his teenage child by asking, "Do you still feel like you can come and talk to your mother and I?" The child replies, "Whatever." On paper, these conversations seem harsh and rude, but they're becoming commonplace in more and more relationships that are perceived by the outside world as being functioning, healthy, and normal.
No, fuck that. That's a true disconnect. Would you really ever just walk up to the kids and be like, hey, do you feel like you can talk to us?
No, God, no. That would be we're not in conflict. There's not anything elevated right now. And it's just a check-in of, I do that with the kids anyway now.
Right.
Once a week, we lay in bed together and be like, hey, do you feel like you can tell me the truth? Do you feel like that you can come to Pops and Mommy about things? Do you feel like I yelled too much? Give me feedback on how I did this week. And the kids will tell me things of, well, sometimes I'm scared to tell the truth because I don't want to get in trouble. I'm like, well, do you get in trouble for telling the truth? And like, no. I'm like, right, you get in trouble when you don't listen or you lie.
Right.
And trying to help them understand that when you tell the truth, I may be disappointed. I might not want to hear what you have to say, but you're not going to get yelled at. I'm not going to stand you in the corner.
Yeah. The life lessons have to happen whether you lie or not.
Right.
And that's the whole point of the life lessons. You lying is going to get you in trouble, and then you have to learn a life lesson.
Yeah.
Trying to teach integrity is hard, especially to kids, But you wouldn't just walk by them in the hallway and be like, hey, you can talk to us, right? Thanks, Johnny boy, and then walk off.
Right, into your office to close the door for the fourth time today. Right. Yeah. Another thing that the kids have gotten really comfortable with is telling me you yelled too much.
Yeah. Well, they also manipulate with that shit.
Yeah, they do. They do. Because I told our daughter something, and then she did it again, and I told her again more firm. Right? Like, now I'm not, don't do that. Stop it. And then she goes, don't yell at me. And I looked at my husband, I was like, did I just yell at her? And he was like, no, she's trying to manipulate you. You were firm. You did not yell. And I was like, exactly. And I was like, sweetheart, there's a difference. Yeah. I did not yell at you just now. And there was once where our son was like, you're yelling at me. And this was after him stomping his feet and throwing things and going down the list of things to get what he wants. And then he was like, stop yelling at me. And I was like, son, I'm not yelling at you, Ryan. I can raise my voice right now. Like, this is yelling, boy. Like, and he'd be like, okay, mommy, you weren't yelling at me. I'd be like, right. I'm not. I'm trying to talk to you. I don't want you to be upset right now. And you telling me that I'm yelling at you is doing nothing but making me what?
Yeah.
What are you saying right now, son? Okay. You want to get back into reading?
Yes. Because I could get wrapped up in the chat all day long.
Okay. They are a sign of deeply fractured relationships that are desperately in need of attention.
I agree. 100% agree with that statement.
Yeah. The young people today have perfected this form of communication and transmuted it into a form of non-communication that is the creation of cliches, cliches such as what's up, oh, pardon me, and whatever.
I don't like that he said young people because adults do that shit. Everyone does that.
Yeah, I know people in their 40s, 50s, 60s saying that shit.
We are very disconnected as a society because we're more connected to our devices than we are to the people in our lives.
Continuing on. It is so interesting to note that teens usually use cliches to avoid deeper levels of communication with adults in their lives, and that they communicate very differently with friends within their peer group.
That's because they don't trust the adults in their lives.
And that's because you teach people how to treat you.
Right.
Right?
You train them. Absolutely do.
I love watching Dr. Phil. I put my book down because now I'm going to get into something.
Okay, I'm going to blow my nose while you tangent.
Okay. I love watching Dr. Phil and hearing him say something that we've said on the podcast multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of those things was this morning, the kids got out of the car and I sent them farewell and I got off the phone with my sister and I popped on Dr. Phil and he was talking to a mom who got pregnant at 16. She's now in her early 20s and she's being absolutely awful to her mother. Her mother is doing everything that she can to help out with her granddaughter and accommodate. And this mom is going out and getting drunk, doing drugs, showing up at midnight, banging on the door. You need to let me in or I'm going to break a window. All of these kinds of things. And Dr. Phil said something to the daughter and then he looked at the mom and the mom was like, I'm just so exhausted. I don't know how to do any of this anymore. She's the problem. She's the problem. She's the problem. And Dr. Phil looks at her and goes, well, you train people how to teach you. Ooh. Or how to treat you. You teach people how to treat you. Or something along those lines. And she just said, yeah, you're right. And I was like, he said the thing. He said the thing that we say.
Dr. Phil secretly watching the To Be Better podcast.
Right. And if your teenager doesn't trust you, and it doesn't even have to be, oh, well, I have a right to go through their bedroom. They're my child. Right. But if your child came and told you something in confidence, and now the whole family knows about it, they can't trust you.
Right.
If your child came and told you something in confidence and you don't remember it a week later.
Yep.
Or
you blow up on them.
Right.
For the MTV generation, when MTV actually played music for like the 14 or 15 years that they did that, there was a commercial. And during the commercial that they would play all the time, it was like a parent that was an addict. And the kids started doing it. The parent would be like, where did you learn this? And they were like, I learned it from you, okay? That's it.
Yeah.
Your kids they pay attention. And they may not grow up and do the things you want them to do, but they will absolutely mimic your behaviors. Yeah. Because that's normal to them.
Yeah. Every time you say MTV when they actually played music, my mind goes, MTV. Yeah. I Want My MTV was one of those songs that I listened to a lot growing up.
Yeah. MTV was such a huge part of my childhood.
Mm-hmm. And then it turned into Bachelorette and...
Is that an MTV show?
I think so.
Yeah, it started.
I know.
Started with The Real World.
The Real World.
And
I'm almost certain Jersey Shore was on MTV.
It was.
What is it, like 16 and Pregnant or whatever?
Yeah,
Teen Moms.
I was done with MTV way before any of that became a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for making all of you Gen Xers feel old.
Okay, back to this. Why do so many teenagers communicate in this way with most of the adults in their life? Sometimes it's because they feel if they do communicate in any meaningful way, they will be judged or criticized. They sense that they will not be accepted for who they are. Perhaps they communicate in this way because they feel that nobody understands them, and most are unwilling to try. Others may resort to the constant use of cliches to communicate because they believe, consciously or subconsciously, that everything within them is worthless and pathetic. Some are lazy and indifferent to others. Still, others are so completely self-absorbed that they find communicating with others to be boring and a waste of time.
You paused.
I'm so worried about how the kids are going to be when they grow up.
Yeah.
I'm pouring so much into them, and I'm trying to do things so differently. And because I observe parents in the wild, right? At the children's school, at Walmart.
Observe. Is that the word we're using for judgment?
I'm not judging anybody.
I am. I judge hard as a motherfucker. I have people watch and judge hard.
Yeah.
I'm a judgmental fuck.
I mean, I sometimes I do judge. I was in a gas station and a mom just walked away from her toddler. And I'm like, I'm the only woman seeing this toddler with my eyes right now. I can't see the mom. Where did she go? Yeah, that I judge the shit out of that.
I judge everyone.
But I observe things. I see how parents carry themselves, how they speak to one another, how they speak to adults, how they speak to their children.
Now I need a shirt that says I'm not judgmental, I'm observant. I'm making that shit.
Yeah, I don't judge, I observe.
Yeah. Rachel A. Ann said, are your kids in public school or homeschool? Stay tuned because we're going to have a whole school conversation when we're done with this.
I very rarely judge parents, especially mothers, because I'm a mom and I know how hard this is.
Right.
But if you're a completely disconnected parent, if you are not engaged, if you are completely oblivious to your child, there is a judgment there, 100%. I know how difficult this is, right? Like I said, I'm a mom. I get it. To just blatantly ignore your children because you're too overwhelmed or too frustrated or don't want to deal with it, that's when I start judging that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that shirt will be on the website by the end of the week.
Continuing on. The reason adults have are startlingly similar. They are afraid of being judged and criticized. We sense that we are not accepted and are afraid of being rejected. We feel that nobody understands us and that most people are more interested in being understood themselves than they are in trying to understand us. Secretly, we all carry the same shame, and at times believe that we are worthless and pathetic. We are lazy, we are indifferent, and we are self-absorbed. We are self-absorbed.
I believe that most people feel that way about themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That negative self-talk is real.
So let me ask you this. With that negative self-talk, because we will look at people who take care of themselves, right? They get their hair done regularly. They're always putting on makeup. Dudes who always go to the gym. That people view that as self-absorbed, right? Why are you so focused on how you look? Why are you so focused about whatever skincare routines, go and get your nails done? I would argue that people who are in that pity me mindset are on a deeper level of self-absorption than the people who are in a healthy mindset.
Yeah. Real question is why are you so worried about my self-care?
Yeah.
Do you care about me that much? Because that's a genuine question.
Yeah.
If you're like, why are you going to the gym all the time? Why are you eating healthy? Why are you doing da-da-da-da? Are you really
Why are you stuffing your face?
Are you really that concerned about my health? Because if so,
Yeah.
I love you for that. Thank you.
People are wild. See, I can't do that. When people start questioning me in an attacking manner, I'm going to start hitting you with shit about your own life. Why haven't you gotten off the couch in the last 2 weeks?
Why are you on your 9th pregnancy and 6 baby daddies, Jennifer?
Right.
You know, you're like, fuck you.
Mind your business. Yeah. If you were so focused on your life the same way you were focused on mine, you would have your shit together.
That's it.
I saw something today and I very rarely comment on YouTube videos, right? I don't feel the need to say things anymore because we have a platform. People hear all the shit I want to say anytime I want to say it. So I don't really leave comments because what's
Rub
the
it
point?
in. Look how fucking great I am. I have a platform. Listen to me. I'm just kidding. The judgment thing. Toss.
As you should. No.
Sorry.
Right? No, people hear enough from me that they don't want.
I know what you meant. I
don't have to be in the comments of things, right?
Yeah.
And there was it was a video about something in a couple doing something, and people were ripping them apart in the comments. And my only comment was, damn, if you guys focused as much on your own relationships versus celebrity relationships, I bet divorce rates would be lower.
Yeah. How much hate did you get for that?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't checked.
Come in, sprinkle some chaos, and exit.
I do, yeah. I do that. I've left comments on YouTube like 6 months ago, and I don't know if they've gotten liked. I don't know if there's any responses. I don't care to check.
That's funny.
I stated my opinion, and either people agree with it or they don't, and I'm not looking for validation. I just wanted you to know I think that's fucked up.
What?
Notation, doctor?
Yeah. I will forget because that one's not.
Right.
That was something that I knew I wanted to talk about, and I'd already forgot about it until
Right.
you had mentioned that, and it triggered the thought.
Gotcha.
So I made a quick note. Hopefully, that quick note will be enough for me to remember. Let's bust out the rest of that, and then we'll bullshit
right.
with the chat.
Cliches are safe. We cling to them for that reason. But when they are overused in a relationship that deserves to enjoy greater depth of intimacy, cliches keep us at arm's length from the one thing we cannot live happily without.
Intimacy.
Intimacy.
Yep.
Incapable of small talk. In other relationships, we encounter the opposite of this cliche, dominated communication. With everything that is good, abuse exists at both extremes. Some people abuse the first level of intimacy by using cliches too much, while others abuse it by using cliche communication too little or refusing to engage in small talk at all. This kind of behavior is equally harsh, abrupt, rude, and insensitive.
I struggle with small talk.
I also struggle with small talk. And I'm also, if I'm shopping, I'm overstimulated. I'm overwhelmed. I've already forgotten what aisle I'm in.
But when somebody engages with me, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But creating the small talk is where my struggle comes in. And,
Yeah.
and if we're busy doing something and you're trying to small talk, we've learned to be like, hey, are you busy right now? Because we're not going to be engaged in meaningless conversation if we're super engaged in something else. Which is, why people should still go on dates and have times where they're not focusing on something else and can actually focus on their person.
Yeah, I don't do small talk very well either. The first time I met Zach, you left us by ourselves, and I was like, so what do you think about aliens?
Yeah, you did. What a wild fucking ride.
Right?
He was like, hey guys, I'm going to be in Florida for work. And he came to our house.
He did. Yep, he did. And he got to sit on a Patreon live.
He did.
Yeah.
What a wild ride.
I know. I'm glad that Zach is still here with us.
Yeah. I am
And not just with the podcast. I mean, existence.
integrated.
Yeah.
Integrated with us.
Okay, continuing on. Imagine a person incapable of small talk. You probably don't have to imagine. You probably know someone who fits this description. They seem incapable of being cordial and polite, and capable of regular social interactions. They may be abrupt and arrogant in their manner, quiet and distant to all onlookers, and when they do speak, they come off as harsh because they don't ease into a conversation. They cut straight to topics and big issues, or at least what they consider to be big issues, which usually revolve around their own area of expertise. If you try to call them on this, they will explain that they simply cannot humor fools and that nothing is gained from small talk.
I actually really disagree with the last part of that.
That nothing is gained from small talk?
Yep.
Well, right, that's what he's saying, that people in that mindset will say.
Yeah.
Continuing on. We must ask, does this attitude and approach encourage intimacy? The answer is, of course, a resounding no. In fact, such people in many ways resemble the teenager whose answer to everything is whatever. These are often men and women of towering intellect, but they hide behind that intellect. Others who employ this tactic are not intellectual giants, but create some other mask to assert their superiority. Why? They have all the same reasons many of us do for avoiding intimacy, but mostly they fear it, though it is the one thing they cannot happily live without. It is this fear that drives them from the world of others and into a world of themselves. And in that world of self, they begin the narcissistic obsession and eventually convince themselves that others are boring and a waste of time. As the years pass in this world of self, they become indifferent to the interests and needs of others, and incapable of the simplest of human communications and considerations. They may claim that their genius prevents them from thinking about the trivial, because their minds are constantly equipped with the grander and loftier ideas. But the truth is, they lack the common decency to ask another human being, how are you? How was your day? What did you do? And the empathy to listen and care. They will tell you that they are simply incapable of small talk, as if they were born this way. The truth is, they have chosen to be incapable of small talk. The bottom line is that such people are scared to death. They may seem awkward in social situations, unable to engage with people, but this disposition is the fruit of years of effort. We are all able to make people feel welcome and accepted by taking an interest in them. We become good at this the same way we become good at anything with practice. We all find ways to avoid intimacy. Some of those ways are highly sophisticated, while others are simple and transparent. But the effect is the same. We continue to yearn for our fill of intimacy. Anything before I continue?
I agree with all of that.
Okay.
I would like to say that communication is an art form.
It is.
And I also like, anytime the word narcissist comes up, I am like red light, right? Instant red light for me. It's not a trigger. It was for a long time. It bothered the shit out of me. But I also understand that there's a difference between talking about narcissistic traits and calling someone a narcissist.
Right.
And in that situation, to say that they're leaning into the narcissist, that makes a whole lot of fucking sense. And I was going to interrupt you and say that then, because it's different to use that as a personality description. Like you are self-centered. You are working on only caring about yourself, or you have a superiority complex that could speak on a narcissistic thing, or viewing other people as inferior, but that doesn't make you a narcissist. It In certain situations, you may believe you're better than somebody, and in that situation, you have a narcissistic tendency. My brain went on a whole roller coaster while you were reading that.
Yeah.
Also, I could listen to you talk all fucking day long.
Yeah? Why? Where did that come from?
Do you really want the whole answer, or you just want the short version of it?
I want the whole answer.
Well, I'm staring at the floor.
Okay.
I'm hyper fixating on the things that you're talking about, listening to your voice, and then I started to wean off because I've read all of this.
Right.
And then I was like, man, I really enjoy her little lisp. And then I started thinking about the side mouth thing.
Yeah.
And then I looked up at you and watched you read for a little bit, and I really like your face. And I like your mouth movements, and I like the way your voice sounds. And I went down a whole obsessive rabbit hole while you were reading. Was probably why you didn't get interrupted the entire time. I was absolutely listening to what you were saying, obviously, because I was able to address the narcissist thing and the need for connection. But there you go.
That was really sweet. Thank you. I'm all giddy now. I don't know what to do with myself.
You can continue reading.
I don't know if I can. Yeah. You saying that now, what it makes sense to me why the kids fall asleep so fast when I read to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a comfort in that for the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It came out last night at like 7:20, and I was like, "All right, the kids are asleep," and you were like, "What?" That was fast. I like that you like my voice. I worry that, I don't know. I've heard men complain about she sounds like nails on a chalkboard or something.
Yeah, the relationship has fallen apart at that point.
Yeah.
When I truly believe that I really want to get back to this book, but I truly believe that when people get to the point where their partner, when you have somebody in your life that's talking and in your head you're going, God, I wish they would just shut the fuck up. You are that disconnected.
Right.
You're either not engaging with them because you don't like who they are as a person, you don't like the situation, you don't want to fucking be there, whatever it is. That's a huge alarm bell that you need to pay attention to. That's a problem. I don't have that with you. There are times that you say some really off the wall shit, and I look at you and I'm like, I can't believe you just said that. And then you elaborate on it, and then we both laugh about it because it's fucking funny.
Yeah.
We have those random thought processes that need to be explained, but once explained and understood, the shit's hysterical. I don't think I'm a very funny person.
I think you are.
Right. Well, see, and it's the opposite. I think that you're fucking hysterical. So, if I have a moment that I view as dumb and you're dying laughing, thinking that it's funny, I don't feel dumb anymore. Now I'm funny, right?
Yeah.
It is a change of programming.
It happens a lot too.
Right?
You make me snort a lot.
It is a change of programming.
Yeah.
We are being the best version of ourselves for each other. And while we are overcoming the shortcomings that we previously had and are rewiring the neurological pathways in our brain, because of the brain's neuroplasticity, I'm learning new ways to love myself because of the way that you interact with me. And I believe it's the same way with you. Things that are you'll say something, you'll be like, is that stupid? And I'm like, no, it's fucking on point. I do believe we are working to change each other's life. Mm-hmm. I don't know how else to explain that.
No, that was a good way. That was a really good way to put it. I'm going to say it. I'm just going to say it.
Don't say you want to lick my brain.
No.
Okay, good.
It's on par with that, though. My bones just want to rattle with yours.
Shake, rattle, and roll. Yeah. We skeletons dancing.
Just put both of our skeletons in a bag and shake it.
Our brains went to very different places. Yeah, no. I went to somebody using us as mariachi puppets, as skeletons.
Yeah. No, I mean, that works. I'm leaning more towards our bones being intermingled forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put us in the same grave. It'll happen.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back to the book.
Okay. Continuing on. Carefree timelessness. One thing can help you move beyond the tyranny of the cliche level more effectively than anything else. Carefree timelessness. What is carefree timelessness? It is time together. Not 5 or 10 minutes, but 2 hours or 4 hours or a weekend away. It isn't just a lot of time together. Carefree timelessness is time together without an agenda. All relationships thrive under the condition of carefree timelessness, but we don't gift our relationships with carefree timelessness. We try to shove them into 5 minutes here and 10 minutes there, a cell phone call here and an instant message there. Do we actually expect our relationships to generally thrive under these conditions?
Before I forget this, have you ever had a carefree timelessness with me? This might be a very
yeah.
different. I've never had that with you.
No?
No, because when we're doing things like going to the garden or taking a vacation or doing something, I have an agenda.
Right.
I want to make sure that the memories that we have are beautiful and like enjoyable. I want to make sure that we're having fun. I want to make sure that we get to try new things. Like I am very engaged in what we're doing when we're spending time together. Mm-hmm. There's never a moment of carefree timelessness, as he put it. I understand kind of what he's trying to convey there, but I live with intent.
Right.
And if I have 4 hours to spend with you, I'm intentional with those 4 hours because I may not have that 4 hours again for another 2 weeks. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
When I think of a carefree timelessness time, I hate everything about that sentence.
Too many S's.
Too many S's. St. Augustine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to elaborate?
Yeah. So that vacation was a mess.
It was a fucking mess.
It was a mess, but I look back on it fondly because one of my favorite things about that vacation is that we stayed above a fish spot without knowing that it was a fish restaurant.
Oh, it smelled so fucking bad.
It smelled so bad, but it's so funny to look back on. I mean, we knew that we were going to be in St. Augustine. We knew how long we were going to be there for, but we didn't really have, and we knew what we wanted to do. But there was no 8 a.m. we need to be at the lighthouse, and by 10 o'clock we have to be at the fort.
Right.
11:30 is lunchtime, so walk fast.
But we were living in the moment.
Yeah.
The lighthouse was an experience.
Yeah.
And it was an intentional experience.
Yeah.
We climbed to the top of it. You had some height issues. We got to look at ghost feet prints,
Right.
footprints.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense because there was more than just a footprint. It was, why don't they call that feet prints?
I don't know. Why do they call it tip toes but not tip fingers?
They call them the fingertips.
Right.
I don't know. Toe tips? I don't like this. Anyways. I live with intent, and I think that if you want to have a successful relationship, you should be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It is okay to lose track of time because you're having fun, but while you're having fun, you should be doing things with intent. If you go to the beach and you want to have a beach blanket picnic, and you spend 2 hours on the beach doing absolutely nothing, you're not. You're having a picnic. You are connecting. You are living with intent. You are going there intending to do something. So to have carefree timelessness just sounds like you're frolicking with no fucking plan. Like I have a plan for everything when we're doing shit. May not hit all the points of the things that I want to do. And I am absolutely okay with changing course. But I have an agenda when we do things. I want your time. I want it undivided. I want your attention. I want da-da-da-da-da-da. We're going to go do those things. I may not pay attention to the time, but while we're doing those things and making memories, there is intent there. All right.
Continuing on. Do we sincerely feel that this is enough to form a significant connection with another human being? Or have we simply failed to think about it because we are distracted by everyday insanity of our busy lives? If your teenage child wanted to open up to you a little bit more, spend an afternoon together without an agenda. Do something different together. Make this a regular part of your relationship. The first time, your teenager will be understandably suspicious. But once this becomes a part of their normal lives, he or she will sense your genuine interest and will begin to open up. The same approach can be taken with any relationship. Simply adding some carefree timelessness and watch it begin to grow and thrive. So quality time.
Live with intent.
They're talking about quality time.
I get
one-on-one time with the person that you love.
Yep. I get it.
Doing something that's not doctor's appointments or school or family gatherings.
Right.
I watched a video of a mom. She pulled up with her one of her teenage children, and they got McDonald's. And they went grocery shopping. They did all these things together. And the mom was like, okay, give me your bag. And the kid was like, what? And she was like, give it to me. I got to throw it away. And like, what are you talking about? Your siblings can't know that we got McDonald's. I do this every time I go out with one of you, and I don't want to hear the others complain. It's too expensive. Give me your trash. This is how I love you guys. You get one-on-one mom time, and each of you get McDonald's when we go out by ourselves, and that's it.
That's funny.
But like even that, I remember my mom taking my sister and I thrifting like every Sunday. And that was a really dope thing. And I love doing that with the kids. They're a little rambunctious in public right now. I need to wait until they're a little bit older because I can only say, don't touch that like 4 times before I'm like, all right, y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here. They've gotten really good at that. The up in here part. What are you thinking?
This is not really relevant to the conversation at hand, but the touching thing in public, don't touch that.
Yeah.
We do that. I smell things.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
Right.
I pick things up and I sniff them. It's fucking weird. I'm not Joe Biden. I don't do it to babies, but like if I pick up a tumbler cup at a Yeti cup from Dick's Sporting Good, I'll take the lid off and smell the inside of it before I buy the cup. I don't know why the fuck I do that, but I do. It's a thing.
Right.
But the kids touching things and us going, don't touch that. Maybe the answer is to let them, to walk over there and supervise the touch and then ask them why they're doing it.
I mean, I will do that sometimes. I would be okay with doing that sometimes.
I've never thought of that. Until you said that, I'd never put that in. Just like, hey, we're in a hurry. Don't fuck with that right now. We gotta go.
It's not like that. I mean, if the kids want to touch a cool texture, I'm all down to touch a fluffy pillow. Like, I'll touch a fluffy blanket. If I think something's going to be a cool texture, I'll touch it. But we're not picking up glass.
Because it could break.
Right. You just ate a bunch of chocolate, buddy. Look at your hands. We're
Right.
not touching things.
Right. Okay. And that, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
But in the event that they want to touch it and it is glass and their hands are clean, I would have never been like, why do you want to touch this? Here, touch it. Get it out of your system. Like, is it textured? Is that a cool thing for you? Their view of the world is so much different than ours. Children,
Right.
they view the world like adults on psychedelics.
Yeah.
That's factual. The curiosity there and the understanding of the intricacy and the everything. A lamp is not just a lamp to a kid. There's a fucking cord there and a bolt and a piece of wood and
How does this work?
right, shiny brass, and there's curiosity. I don't understand any of this. And we don't do that anymore. As adults, we're so quick to get in and get out and get the fuck away from people and not want to socialize and not want to be in public. Like, that's what I was thinking about. So my brain was, I'm trying to solidify in the event that they're trying to do that. I want to know why they're doing it. Do you want to feel the texture? Is it that you want to play right now? Because if you get that out of your system, I touch shit all the time, but nobody can tell me no, I'm an adult.
Right.
And if they do tell me no, I'm telling them to go fuck themselves, right? Like,
Right.
so it's, I don't know. Anyways, that's where my brain was going. I was processing and you caught me doing it. I was rendering.
Okay. I'm going to continue reading.
Okay, I'm going to go put this ice pack away because it's freezing my back.
Okay. Think back to when your primary relationship began. You probably spent a lot of time together, and when you weren't together, you probably spent a lot of time thinking about the next time you would be together. Yep. Was there spontaneity? What?
Was it spontaneous? Spontaneity. And no, there wasn't. Because in the event that I wanted to try to take you on a date, I had to fucking plan for it.
Right.
I don't want to take you somewhere and fail. So we're going to play mini golf. And what are we going to do at mini golf? We're going to laugh. We're going to have milkshakes afterwards, maybe some pizza. We're going to spend an extra hour conversing and have a dope ride home.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I overanalyze everything in my life. I plan constantly. I want to make sure that the dates that we have are a success. And if we do something and on the way home, we're having our debrief and you're like, I didn't like this, noted. Not doing that shit again. Want to be the win. Like, plan to fail. Was it if you fail to plan, you plan to fail?
Right. Continuing on. How much energy did you put into trying to please each other? You may think that you spend more time together today, but do you really?
Nope.
Or are you simply in the same place together more of the time?
Yep. And people will call that spending quality time together.
Right.
There's a difference between spending time together and spending quality time together. What you're engaged with matters.
Yeah.
We don't watch TV. We do. It absolutely is on, but we have big conversations while it's happening.
Yeah.
We're spending quality time together watching TV or watching a movie. We're not doom scrolling while watching TV and barely talking to each other. You're playing with Legos, and I'll be doom scrolling, and we'll still be having conversations. That's quality time.
Yeah. The world is full of people living together alone. Is there always an agenda when you do spend time together? When was the last time you woke up with absolutely nothing planned and said to each other, what would you like to do today? Or perhaps you suddenly stopped trying to please each other somewhere along the way. Did you? When did you stop trying to please her? And why? Don't you miss the happiness you found in making someone else happy?
There is a conundrum in his thought process.
Okay.
If you have nothing going on, we both have the day off and nothing is planned, with 2 kids and multiple businesses is never a fucking thing.
Yeah, we never get a day off.
But in the event that we go, what do you want to do today? And we sit down and devise a plan for us to spend time together. There's no spontaneity there. It is us figuring out what we want to do, how we're going to spend quality time, and then engaging in that activity based off of the plan that we've laid out. If you get in the car, if you're like, let's go somewhere, and you're like, where do you want to go? And you go, I don't know. And you get in the car and you just drive until you see something cool and stop. That's
spontaneous.
Right. Otherwise, all of it's planned.
I agree.
It matters.
I know.
The rest of that shit really fucking, I vibe with all of that. The trying to make her happy because it feels good.
Yeah.
It does feel good. People genuinely want to make the people around them happy. I think it's ingrained in our DNA. That's why there's so many people pleasers out there. Mm-hmm. But I think that you have to go above and beyond to do that, especially when you've become in a mundane existence. Your world is just your world. You're always busy. You're always tired. You get a free day. You kind of really don't want to do anything because you've been go all the time. The difference is in the beginning, the downtime was spending time with that person.
Right.
Because you're not excited about spending time with them. Now you just want to kind of sit at home. Or maybe you guys are just both fucking wore out and you're going to lay together and watch TV, but you're laying together watching TV. It's different than sitting in a recliner with a fucking beer watching football.
Yeah.
Yep.
Continuing on.
Yes.
We all want to have great relationships, but we get distracted. We all want to experience times of carefree timelessness, but we get preoccupied and distracted by all the urgent things. Every morning when you wake up, you face a list of urgent things to do. Your list of urgent things might be in your planner or on your desk. It might be on your fridge or on your computer. Your list of urgent things might be in your mind. It might be in your spouse's mind. But every day there is that list. We rush around and endlessly doing all of these urgent things. And if we are not careful, we will rush around doing urgent things for the rest of our lives. The problem is the most important things are hardly ever urgent. When was the last time you woke up and said to yourself, I urgently have to work out today? You don't urgently have to work out. You have to skip your workout because you have urgent things to do. When was the last time you said to your assistant, cancel all my meetings, I urgently need to read a good book that will fuel my mind, expand my vision of myself and the world, and intellectually stimulate me?
I like where he went with that, but I don't like that he used urgent so much in that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you just watched The Lost Boys and you said Michael 700 times.
Yeah. There's more.
Great.
Okay. When was the last time you thought, I really need to urgently... Oh, God. When was the last time you thought, what I really need to do urgently today is to go down to Wild Oats and get myself some fresh organic fruits and vegetables and make myself a truly great meal that will genuinely fuel and energize my body? You don't urgently need to eat a good meal. You urgently need to go to the drive-thru.
Yeah, it's convenience. It's priority. It's what we're prioritizing our time with. I don't think that calling that shit's urgent is the right thing. I think that...
Well, that's how people act.
Right. No, I agree that it is. But I think that falls back on living with intent.
Yeah.
What's important to you, right? Because we have a whole lot of shit that we have to do. And there's days where we've got a whole lot of shit to get done and be like, the world's not going to fucking end if it doesn't happen today. It'll still be there tomorrow. And if I don't do it tomorrow, it'll be there the day after that. Mm-hmm. Like, unless I have a deadline that I've got to turn something in, or we have an episode that has to go live by a specific time, or we have a specific live stream time, the rest of the world can be moved around. Like, doctor appointment, we're on their time. We have to be there at that time because that's when they can see us. That's the type of shit that like you need to adhere to, but the rest of your life can be manipulated to suit your needs. Right. And that's what he should be talking about. We manipulate our environment to do the things that we find important in the moment. And somewhere along the lines, your person has fallen down that list of priorities, or your fucking health has fallen down that list of priorities, which is why you're not going to an organic Whole Foods place and you're eating processed bullshit because it's easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Back to the book.
Yep.
In each of the 4 areas of life, physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual, we know what is most important, but we tell ourselves that we will attend to those matters later when we have finished with the urgent things. I'll do it when I get caught up, we tell others and ourselves. This might not be so much of a problem if we did actually do the most important things when we got caught up, but we don't. Not because we don't want to, but because we never get caught up. Seriously, when was the last time you sat down and said to yourself, I'm caught up now? The last time that I had all of the clothes clean in the house. There was not a single piece of dirty laundry besides the clothes that we put on our back that morning.
So Sunday.
No, we have dirty laundry sitting in our laundry room right now. I had a whole day at home. I had nothing to do besides laundry, and I was able to knock out like 4 to 6 hours of laundry that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm accomplished and done all the time.
I don't.
If I go, I'm not doing this for the rest of the day. I'm done now.
Yeah.
I'm done. Laundry will be there tomorrow. Dirty kitchen will be there tomorrow, dirty bathroom, whatever. Oil needs to be changed. It's at 5,000 miles. It's been 5,100. I know that's not going to blow my engine. That shit can wait a day if that's what I want to do. It's a priority thing. If I'm ready to call it a day and I don't want to fucking do this anymore, I'm going to do what I want. But I'm going to prioritize the things that make me happy in doing it. So like if I know that I have 8 episodes that need to be edited and I edited 3 of them and I go, okay, I'm done for the day. There's still editing that needs to be done, but I'm done. It's time management. It's understanding that you get to prioritize the things that you enjoy.
Right.
This I actually think this is going to tie into the school conversation when we're done with this chapter too, or this section.
It doesn't happen. Your to-do list just gets longer and longer every day. You never get caught up. You just get more and more behind every day. Some days you feel as if your life has momentum of its own, as if it could go on with or without you. Because of the most important things are hardly ever urgent, that is why we have to place them at the center of our lives. We have to put them on our schedules, because if we don't, we simply won't get around to them. Things which matter most must never be at the mercy of things which matter least, was Goethe's advice.
Here's a real quick. Here's a thought process on the laundry thing. Unless you stop wearing clothes, don't use bedding, don't dry off with towels, and you just live naked and dirty, you will never be done with laundry.
Right.
Because even if all of your laundry's done, what you're wearing is dirty. And it's going to have to be washed. So to have that mindset of I'm never done with, and you're prioritizing saying that when this gets done, it's never going to get done. And it's not that the list piles up or that you're adding new things. It's that you're prioritizing those things over other facets. And I know that I keep saying that, but I believe that that's what it comes down to. If I wanted to spend time with you and you were like, well, I have to wash my hair tonight, and we don't get to spend time because you've prioritized your hair washing or the laundry or the dirty kitchen or the grass needing to be cut or the oil needing to be changed or whatever the case may be, what you're telling me is in the moment, you have other things that you would rather be doing than spending time with me. And in those situations, that's how I view that.
Yeah.
If I'm like, hey, we have to do da because we have a timeline that it has to be finished on because we have a schedule that has to be kept.
Right.
It's very different. If we have a hotel room where we've got to check out by 10 a.m., we're not going to the museum at 8:30 unless we pack all of this shit up into the car to go to the museum and then leave from the museum, right? Like,
yeah.
It's a priority. You're prioritizing your life. It's time management.
I agree with that. I am also going to devil advocate that because I know people who will purposely be like, hey, let's go do this. Well, I've told you for 2 weeks I have something happening tonight. Well, you don't love me. You're not willing to do that because you're not going to spend time with me this evening.
Yeah, that's manipulation, though.
Yeah.
That is absolutely manipulation. That I actually think that's like hardcore manipulation. And that's how people isolate people from other groups.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a huge fucking problem. Yep.
All right, continuing on. We have to make carefree timelessness a priority. The experts at carefree timelessness are, of course, teenagers. While they may use cliches to avoid intimacy with many of the adults in their lives, and relating to their friends and their peer group, they have perfected the art of carefree timelessness. What do teenagers do? They talk on the phone. How long do they talk on the phone for? Hours.
They live their life.
Now they do. Oh, you mean they live their life talking?
No, when you're a teenager
Right.
and you think you know shit, you
Right.
have no idea about the world.
Right, they're talking to their friends, living their life. That's what you meant.
Yeah. Yep. When we get into Discord communication and we're talking to the Death Star or we're in the ball pit and we're spending 30 minutes having fun with our friends, it's no different than a kid talking on the phone. You prioritize the things that you enjoy. You spend your entire life trying to get ready for the next thing. We've talked about this a lot on the podcast. You're getting ready for kindergarten. Then you get ready for first grade. Then you're getting ready for fifth grade, high school. You're getting ready for college. Then you're getting ready for a career and a family. Getting ready to have kids. Getting ready for your retirement. And you spend all this time getting ready for shit and you don't fucking live your life. The time that you're a child, your actual childhood from like 6 to 16, that 10-year span is going to be should be the most enjoyable time of your life. You don't have the responsibilities that you have as an adult. You don't have to worry about bills. You get to hang out with your friends. You get downtime. You get to do like kid shit. And that's, when we're kids, we're like, God, I can't wait to be older so that we can do all this shit. Is the dumbest thing that you'll ever say because you don't know what it is to be an adult yet.
Right.
And for parents who are pushing their kids to that next thing and not letting them enjoy their life, you're doing them a disservice because they're not learning. Like they're not getting to experience what life really is. And what happens if you prepare them for all of this shit and on their deathbed, they're like, man, I wish I would have lived my life. Then they're successful and have all this money and created generational wealth, but have real regret because they couldn't go to the mountains and spend a month in a cabin with their family, or because they couldn't go to Bora Bora and spend a week in a fucking cabin on water. Like, I don't know. I'm going to try to stop interrupting
Why?
so much.
Why?
Because I feel like I'm saying the same things over and over again.
Okay.
And I think that it's because I really want people to get what I'm feeling, not so much what I'm saying, but
Okay.
I'm good.
I was going to say something and I don't remember what it was.
I'm sorry.
Johnny has been on the phone for 4 hours, and when he gets off the phone, his father asks, how long have you been on the phone? Not long, Johnny replies. Who were you talking to? His mother asks. Susan, Johnny replies. Susan is Johnny's girlfriend. What did you two talk about? The father asks now. And what does Johnny say? Nothing. Carefree timelessness. When Johnny said not long, he wasn't necessarily telling a lie. When he told his parents nothing, he wasn't necessarily being evasive. The nature of carefree timelessness is to be timeless. You lose track of time, and carefree timelessness is carefree. It has nothing to achieve other than the enjoyment of each other's company. Teenagers are experts at it. How often do parents ask when their children are going out with friends, where are you going? The children reply, I don't know. Of course, we consider this an unacceptable answer, but it may be the truth. Carefree timelessness, it is the reason young people fall in love so easily. The lack of carefree timelessness is the reason the rest of us fall out of love so easily. Carefree timelessness causes us to fall in love with others and life, and it will help you move your relationship beyond the first level of intimacy. I'm so fucking tired of saying carefree timelessness.
I get it. And what was the other one? Urgency.
Urgent.
I see that made a whole lot of sense. The way that he used it in that example makes sense. However, what they didn't talk about, nothing. They talked about a whole lot of things that were important to them that they enjoyed. Mm-hmm. The real question there is it any of your business?
Right. See, and I was thinking as I was reading that, the questions I would be asking are, did you guys have a good conversation?
Right.
Is she still making you happy?
Hell yeah, high five.
Right? Like,
supportive. Those other questions felt like interrogation.
Son, look at you watering your girlfriend.
Yes.
You didn't have to be on the phone for 4 hours, but look at you.
Yep.
That's how you make your woman happy. They're like, yeah.
It's perspective.
It is perspective. I don't want to know all of that shit.
I don't either.
I don't want to sit here for 45 minutes while you tell me what you and your teenage girlfriend talked about.
Yep.
It's probably a whole lot of, no, you hang up.
Yeah.
No, you hang up. Babe, I can't wait to see you at school tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like,
fall asleep on the phone.
Right. And we don't even have to pay for that shit anymore. It's unlimited. So you guys can fall asleep on FaceTime. I don't care. You know, I don't feel that weird ownership over my kids that a lot of parents feel.
Yeah.
I don't feel that. And I don't know if it's because, you know, I'm divorced from my first husband and we have, there's a custody agreement and the children go, and there are times I don't have a choice but to be away from them. Right. And that sucks. And the mom in me hates it. But I also feel like that's preparing me for when they are adults. Because I don't have a choice in not seeing them right now. They have to go spend time with their dad. Like, for me to deprive them of that time with their dad is 100% selfish on my end because I don't want to see them go. Are you kidding me? And I don't remember where I was going with any of that.
You were talking about the individual, you viewing them as their own individual person, not as an ownership.
I'm not going to go through our children's rooms when they're teenagers. I'm not going to dig through your drawers. If you're making poor life decisions, the only life that's going to affect is yours. And if you get somebody pregnant or you get pregnant, then there's going to be a larger fallout from that. But if you feel like you need to be sneaky from me and hide things from me, there's a bigger problem than whatever you're doing that's wrong. Right? I don't know. Some parents are really weird. And that problem of them feeling like they can't come to me and they're being sneaky about shit is a me problem.
Absolutely.
I want to clarify that. That's not a teenager's problem. That's not you shouldn't hide things from me, whatever, whatever, whatever. If my child or children do not feel comfortable talking to me about something, especially knowing that it's a wrong thing or they're in a situation that's dangerous, I am failing as the mother. Good on that?
I believe that stems from the difference of answering the questions versus because I told you so.
Right.
Right? Because you're creating a free thinker versus a drone.
Yeah. All right, continuing on. The question is, how do we go about it? Whether you decide you need some carefree timelessness with your spouse, your boyfriend or girlfriend, your children or parents, or your friends and colleagues, there are 1,000 ways to create it. The first thing you need to do is schedule it. Now, I hear that objection in the back of your mind. You're thinking, if I have to schedule it, then it's not carefree timelessness.
Wow, it's like you read my mind.
Not so. Think back to our definition of carefree timelessness as time spent together without an agenda. I didn't say that it is unscheduled and will happen all on its own. We know it won't. We have to schedule it, but we don't need an agenda. I agree with that.
Okay, I agree with that too.
We can agree to, let's go to Sarasota for the day. We're going to spend 8 hours in Sarasota, and now we're just going to walk around and go into whatever buildings catches our eye, right? Like museums or aquariums.
That's the agenda.
Well, it would be planned, right? If we had the agenda to go to the aquarium and then go to the museum, then that's an agenda. If we decide we're going to go to Sarasota for 8 hours,
That's an agenda.
it's a schedule.
Okay. Still have a plan.
Right.
We're going to go to Sarasota for 8 hours and walk around, dick off for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Right. That's the schedule.
That's the plan.
Right. But that's not the agenda.
No, teens messing up definitely affects your lives. It absolutely does, but it affects theirs more.
Right. So if my kid is doing drugs,
Right.
I'm not going to end up in jail because they're buying something. I am not going to OD because whatever.
Right.
They are affecting their own lives. Now, if they're living under my roof, there will be fallout.
Right. Well, the things that they do could impact your life. So
Yeah.
shit rolls downhill.
Yeah.
I understood what you were saying.
Yeah.
They obviously needed to point that out. She
Yeah.
needed to point that out. And I agree. Shit does roll downhill.
Yeah.
But with choice theory and what we're trying to implement with our kids is that their life decisions affect their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, continuing on. Let me give you an example of carefree timelessness. If you said to your wife, let's plan to spend Friday afternoon together next week, and we will just decide what we want to do when it comes around. That's time together with no agenda, carefree timelessness. On the other hand, suppose you said to your wife, let's plan to spend Friday afternoon together next week, and we can stop by the store and buy a new television, return those trousers you bought me that didn't fit, have lunch, pick up the kids, and then come home and finish raking those leaves. That is certainly time together, but it also sounds anything but carefree.
No, it's running errands.
It's an agenda.
It is. But both of those are plans, which is an agenda.
I disagree. I don't think plans and an agenda are two different. I believe that plans and an agenda are two different things.
I don't. That's okay. We just agree to disagree.
Okay.
I do agree that there's a difference between carefree moments and the way that was just worded and errands.
Yeah.
I also enjoy running errands with you. So if we have to go buy a TV and then go pick the kids up and go have lunch and go, that's fun. Like I get to spend time with my woman. I'm making the best of that shit.
Yeah, but that doesn't feel like a date to me. That doesn't feel like quality time to me. We're running errands.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm able to see the silver lining in things and I can find happiness in that. But if that was our life, I would not be satiated.
No, I agree. Now, word it this way. We're going to go buy a new TV for our living room. Mm-hmm. And on the way to Sarasota, because that's where the good Best Buy is, we're listening to music and having deep conversations. We're singing, we're having fun, we're laughing. That's a very different conversation than we have to go buy a TV. Like, so
right,
it comes
but we're
to
still
perspective.
running an errand. Like,
yeah. But I enjoy running those errands. If I had to do it by myself, I'm going to listen to an audiobook, just shoot up there, grab the TV, and come home.
Yeah.
I would rather do things with you than do them by myself.
I agree with
There's
that.
still an isolation thing that I enjoy. We all like to have solitude from time to time. That's why you sit in the car and listen to music and do the things that you do when you get in the driveway. Everybody needs that little bit of alone time. That's normal. But I would much rather run those errands with you than without you because it makes the experience more enjoyable. And I think that most people don't view it that way. Like to make up that sounded like a whole lot of work to me.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Back to reading.
Yep.
There are 1,000 ways to spend your carefree timelessness. Nobody needs help with that. You schedule a time together, and when the time arrives, you simply turn to each other and ask, what would you like to do? I'm going to ask you once, though. Like, all right, we've known for a week that this is what we're doing. What do you want to do today? I don't know. What do you want to do? All right, looks like we're sitting at the house. Like,
why are you getting aggressive right now?
What do you mean?
You just got like gangster over there, like got tonal. You just got frustrated thinking about it, huh?
A little bit, yeah. Because I am not somebody who's like, I'm going to tell you what I want to do.
Right.
We know that this time is carved out. I would like to go look at art. Let's see what we can do art related. If I'm asking you, what do you want to do? And you hit me with, I don't know, what do you want to do? You've clearly put no thought into our time together. You're not excited for this. And I would rather sit at home and do things that are fulfilling to me by myself versus be with somebody somewhere who doesn't want to be here and feels obligated because they're my husband. I'm good on that.
Yeah. Yep. I also think that there's something to be said about making people do something that they don't want to do, knowing that they don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I would rather you not come somewhere with me where I know you're not going to enjoy yourself and let me just go and bang it out and get it done versus dragging you along, kicking and screaming because you don't want to be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that. Why make you do something you don't want to do? Mm-hmm. Yep. And I also agree with I want to go to the movies on Thursday. Well, what do you want to see? Okay, Ghostbusters. We're going to go see Ghostbusters on Thursday. Okay, you ready to go? Where are we going? You weren't paying attention. Like you've had this entire week to buy the tickets and figure all that shit out and you haven't.
Right.
Yeah. I definitely think that a lot of people fail to listen to what's really being said. And that comes down to understanding body language and like really listening and knowing your person. If you say if you want to go to the movies, it's not that you want to go to the movies, it's you want alone time with me to like watch TV together somewhere on a date. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're saying. It's not you want to go to the movies. Now, if you were like, I want to see the new Beetlejuice, you're telling me you want to see the new Beetlejuice. It's a very different thing.
Right.
Yep.
Continuing on.
Yes.
If you have the drive and discipline to make carefree timelessness a habit in your primary relationship, you'll be stunned and amazed by how powerfully it changes your life together. Make it a habit.
I agree.
2 hours once a week, 1 whole day once a month, and a weekend getaway once a quarter.
A day a month is not enough.
1 whole day a month, 24 hours?
I don't think that would be enough. If that was it, if you had 1 day in a month, that's not enough.
I mean, that's probably the only feasible thing for a lot of families.
Yeah.
Some people don't have babysitters. They don't have family to help with the kids.
Still not enough. I'm willing to bet that just in our nighttime after we've put the kids to bed where we sit on the couch and spend time together talking and watching TV and just existing together, carefree because there's nothing going on. If you added up all that time at the end of the night, we're well over 24 hours on top of everything else that we do. But when you look at it as just based off that schedule where you have a day together once a month, I don't think that's enough. Maybe I'm greedy. Maybe I want more time with you. Maybe I want to experience life instead of just living. And I think that's really a thing for me. Like I want to, anyways, I'm gonna stop. I said I was gonna stop interrupting. I'm just beating a dead horse.
Okay. Continuing on, give it a try, then send me an email in 3 months and tell me how much it has changed your relationship. Our lives as individuals change when our habits change. It's not freak luck that changes our lives, and God doesn't have any favorites. Our relationships change when our habits as members of those relationships change. Make carefree timelessness a habit in your primary relationship. As you begin to be convinced of its power, make it a habit in all of your high-level relationships. I have powerful memories of carefree timelessness with both my mother and my father as I was growing up. I have 7 brothers, and it would be easy to think that in that type of environment, siblings just get lost in the crowd. Not so, at least not in my family. Both my mother and father went out of their way to make sure that we had the individual nurturing we needed to grow into confident young men. My visits to the Art Gallery of New South Wales with my mother were one of the examples of this individual carefree timelessness that my parents lavished upon my brothers and I. The gallery had an exceptional, permanent collection and attracted world-class traveling exhibits. Renoir, Van Gogh, Monet, Picasso, Warhol, Matisse, Pollock, and many, many others were introduced to me by my mother inside of the walls of that gallery. It was there that I developed my fascination with great art and with great artists behind the masterpieces.
All of that is a choice. Love is a choice.
Yeah. Yep.
Is that the end of it?
No, no.
Because we're at the 2-hour mark. We'll call this part one.
Well, we have a page and a half left.
Okay, we'll finish it then.
Okay.
Because, I mean, this is a full 2-hour episode that's
Right.
going to drop on Friday now. Not this Friday, but on a Friday for the people who missed the live stream. Definitely going to go on Spotify.
Yeah. I want to touch on that individual attention to the children because I do that with the kids.
It's necessary.
Right? Like we will do things together, like we'll play Mommy Monster or hide and seek in the dark with the little headlamps on, whatever we can do as a family together. And then our daughter's an early riser. So I typically get up between 5 and 5:30, and she's usually up when I'm up. And every morning her and I will cuddle and we'll watch either like mermaids, like Barbie mermaids, or we'll watch some type of nature thing or a movie. And she knows like that's our one-on-one time. And with our son, it's mainly at bedtime he wants to lay down and cuddle and do the one-on-one thing. He's very much an active child.
Yeah.
When I want to start taking them shopping individually, but that's hard to do because you're not home often.
Yeah. No, I mean, just plan it.
Yeah.
I need you to be home tomorrow.
Yeah.
Taking one of them shopping. I almost said a name. Taking one of them
Yeah.
shopping. I just need to know that it's happening.
Right.
We could also, there's, I mean, that's a whole conversation off the podcast anyways, but there's other things that we could be doing because I want to be able to start doing man time. He's getting to the age where he's starting to understand what it is to be a man.
Yeah.
But we could do something where if you want to take her clothes shopping, I could take him to like Bass Pro,
That would be dope.
or we could do something, go-karts or something.
Yeah.
You know, it just needs to be planned. I don't know how I'm going to connect to her in that aspect, but we could go to a fucking petting zoo or something. I don't know. Go to a mud pit, let her fucking get dirty. 'Cause
Right.
She really
I was about to say
enjoys
she
dig
would love
holes.
that. When she's older, you can take her to like dirt bike whatevers. I think she's going to be more of the Mad Max than he is.
She already is. 100% already is. She
Yeah.
has zero fear factor until she gets hurt. And then she's afraid. But
Kind of.
only for a little bit. And as soon as
Yeah. She has a messed up arm.
and she jumped off a slide yesterday. With a fucking arm messed up.
I was ready to run outside and yell at these children. But husband was like, you've told them, they're going to learn.
Yep.
They were climbing up their slide and it was sprinkling out. And I've already told them we don't go up the slide. This is every time they go outside, what don't we do? And they were doing it. We have cameras on our whole property so I can see what they're doing. And I was standing there with my hands on my hips and I was watching them and I was like, oh, I gotta go. And I was like, babe, I gotta go out there. I gotta go do the mom thing. And he's like, no, let them just do it.
Let them be kids.
And for those of you who don't know, our daughter fell. She was standing on something she shouldn't have been standing on. It was a scooter with wheels. And our son had a jump rope tied to it because they were giving each other pulley rides. But she decided to stand on it like a surfboard. Whole cataclysm of events. She's now in a wrap.
But she learned.
She did learn. And both of them were super apologetic. Our son was like, I'm so sorry, mommy. I'll never do that again. I was like, buddy, I don't even think that was your fault. Like, I know that you were holding the rope, but I saw her stand up on the thing. I was like, don't do that. And then she fell. And he was like, no, I know, but the rope was on there. Like, I don't want to be the reason Sissy fell. Like, there was a whole learning lesson for them.
And that's just it.
And it was 2 weeks ago. And she still has the bandage on. No fractures, no breaks. It's just a precautionary thing because of the growth plates that she has. And she's climbing up a slide with one arm wrapped. And then she ended up falling. She didn't hurt herself, but she ended up falling off the slide. And she comes inside. She's like, Mommy, I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again. I was like, what did you do? And she was like, brother was like, she fell off the slide and I told her not to do it. And I was like, fibber. I was watching you guys on the camera. First off. But she was good. And she was like, Mommy, I'm okay. I made sure I didn't fall on my arm. I was like, did you learn another lesson? And she was like, yeah, we don't climb the slide, just like you said. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Or you do it more carefully.
Or we don't climb the slide. I'm so worried about them getting injured and hurting themselves.
Kids are going to get hurt.
I know. I just don't like it. Like knowing that, like she needs help going to the bathroom sometimes. And I feel bad. Like I know her arm's going to heal and she's going to be fine.
I actually think that it's time to take that shit off.
I don't. Her arm still hurts,
Okay.
especially when she rotates it. So
It's also immobile now.
she's moving it. She's picking things up.
Right, but she's not able to supinate
Yeah.
and pronate her hand. Extension and flexion gets
Yeah.
fucked up.
I'm going to wait until her appointment next week to get that
fine.
done. To see what they say. I don't want to take it off. And they were like, you shouldn't have done that.
I'd take that shit off.
I know. You have this thing where you're like, it's fine. Take it all off.
It
like,
is fine.
When I broke my elbow, when I messed up my ankle.
We got you, and your elbow's fine.
Yeah.
And we got you to a doctor. It was broken.
Right.
We knew it. They put you in a splint.
Right.
But they're
Yeah.
in the physical therapy world. It gets to a
Right.
point where if you shorten a muscle or you remove mobility, the physical therapy that has to happen afterwards is so much fucking worse
Yeah.
than just dealing with the pain of it hurting while it's healing. All of the pain that I'm having in my body right now is because I haven't been able to move for 4 months. So I'm having to stretch
Right.
and go through that, and it's hurting more now because of that. If I would have stayed on top of the stretching and doing the things that I know I needed to do, I'd be okay right now.
Right.
So, but as a kid, jumping off of roofs and falling out of trees and landing on my face on concrete from skateboards and all that shit,
Right.
you just fucking, kids are resilient. Their bodies are very bendy and bouncy and they heal quickly. And
Yeah.
she doesn't have a break or a fracture. And even if she has a sprain, to have her in that splint for weeks on end is going to, I believe, is going to create more problems than helping.
Okay.
That's just my opinion, though. I'm also not a doctor.
Yeah. I'm going
an
to listen
80s
to the
kid,
doctor.
and I
The
have,
doctor said not to take it off until the next x-ray. So
again, I'm not a doctor.
I also, this is just from my perspective. I think that you think people are more pussies than the pain. And I don't mean to say that. That's the only way I could think to say it. But
That actually had zero to do with my thought process.
yeah. Well, when it comes to like, she should take it off. Like, I believe that you have this mindset of it's not that bad.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Okay.
Even with my herniated disc,
Yeah.
my back's not broken. I'm not paralyzed.
Right. Continuing on, do you need some carefree timelessness with your children? Millions of people confine important relationships to the first level of intimacy. They communicate primarily in cliches because they often sense that nobody is really interested in them and that nobody cares. Studies show that on average, a parent spends less than 17 minutes in conversation with their teenage child each week. Is it any wonder that we have trouble understanding their world? In a culture obsessed with the value of time, one of the real and tangible ways for us to let people know that we care, that we are interested in trying to know them, is to give them our time. Not grudgingly and stingingly, but lavishly. Love is generous and abundant. By lavishing our time upon the people we love, we demonstrate that we love them, that we care about them, and that we are willing to make an effort to know and be known. Carefree timelessness is a key to moving beyond the first level of intimacy, out of the impersonal world of cliches and into the world of personal conversation. In fact, the lesson of carefree timelessness plays a significant role in all 7 levels of intimacy. Give the gift of carefree timelessness to your significant other, to your children, to your parents, to everyone with whom you have a high-level relationship with. Give the people you love the gift. Oh God, I'm skipping that sentence because he's just repeating himself now.
Is there anything of relevance in the rest of that? Because if not, we can just wrap that up.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, good.
There were like 20 more carefree timelessness in that last paragraph.
Yeah.
I feel like you should start abbreviating it, homie. Like
Or
that low-key started infuriating me.
That's funny. Jenny said it's a Gen X thing. You're not dying, you're fine. I want to touch on that whole, I think that people are however you worded that, weaker than I think they are or whatever. I definitely don't think that's the case. I think that it's okay for kids to get hurt. It's okay for us to learn lessons and bounce our face off of concrete and do all the stupid shit that kids are going to do because we're going to recover from it. And those are the life lessons that we're going to have to learn. And like, I've broken a lot of bones in my body and I'm perfectly fine with all of it. My herniated discs are a pain right now, but none of the other things hurt. Even from my surgery, or my motorcycle accident, other than my tailbone still being crooked because it healed fucked up. Like, I don't have any pain from that. That was just a life experience that I had to go through and it fucking taught me something.
Right.
But kids are sponges. They are very, their immune systems are stronger than ours are in terms of like recovering from sickness.
Yeah.
Their body heals a whole lot faster than us. And I because I'm a country boy that grew up in the 80s, like we got hurt all the time and we're afraid to tell our parents over it.
Right.
And I know that like our upbringings were very different. And without getting into your past, you had some traumatic shit happen with your health because it was ignored. And I had put some dirt on it. Like the serious things like needing stitches and needing casts and surgeries was hospital worthy. I think that you just got the bad end of the stick. And because of that, you have a different life experience and you want to make sure the kids are taken care of and they don't experience what you did. And that's fucking good because what you went through was horrific. But there is definitely the kids are fine. Let them fucking be hurt. And I'm going to be that voice of reason and you're going to be the opposite. And somewhere we're going to find a middle ground and it's going to work.
She's going to fall off the slide with her cast on.
Absolutely.
That's going to be it. Yeah.
Yeah. This episode will be a Friday episode for the podcast. So this will get edited and re-uploaded. So for those of you who are listening to this on Spotify after the fact, please go subscribe on our YouTube channel. For those of you who are watching on Facebook right now, please go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. And for everyone who's on YouTube, share the content, like the video, do all that shit that influencers tell you to do. It fucking matters. It helps us stay relevant. Excuse me, I have the hiccups. It helps us stay relevant. And if you want to continue to see the podcast grow and thrive, sharing the content is the best way that you can support what we are doing. So if we've helped you at all, share the fucking content. Got anything else? All right. So we'll wrap up and go live on Patreon in like 15 minutes.
Okay.
Or we can go right away and then I'll get you the 30 minutes early. Or we'll
I
just
can
do
go right away. I have nothing to do.
Okay. I just have to swap everything over then.
Okay.
That being said, guys, remember you're the author of your own life.
So grab a pen.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.